My name is Jamie Glennon. Today I am here with Nico, Opaline, and Anya. We will be discussing social media and how our view of social media changes how we see intimacy in our relationships.
I have Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok.
I have Instagram and Snapchat. I'm not allowed to have TikTok. I just recently got Instagram. I was using it at the beginning of the year when I ran for class secretary, and then now I use it personally.
I have Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, and I feel like I post on Instagram, but not that much, and TikTok I post privately, so I have one public, but that's it, and then Snap I use it a lot. So.
One thing I've seen lately I don't have TikTok, but I have Instagram and Snapchat, and I do spend a fair amount of time on Instagram Reels, if we are being honest.
Me too.
And one thing I've seen lately coming up is the trad wife.
Yeah.
The trad wife, How have you seen that, and what has it made you think about?
I can go first on that. I feel like I've seen it, but not in a lot of different, I guess almost manifestations of it. I've seen one or two very traditional, but I tend to scroll pretty fast on those and they don't come up much. Where it is just a woman, basically just a woman being yeah, I don't work, I cook for my family, that's my job. But then I've seen a lot more of parodies, because my phone knows what I like and what my opinions are on that. But I have seen a lot that are I don't know, it's almost like trad wife, but it's disguised, where it'll be a girlfriend and she's talking about her role in her relationship, and she's not specifically saying oh, I'm a trad wife, but she says very, very similar things, where she's I wouldn't want to get a job because that's my boyfriend's role, or she would be it's a betrayal if I get a job. I've seen a lot that idea that it's betraying someone.
Yeah, having those gender-based experiences and those gender power dynamics is a really interesting thing to look into, because we think of social media as this frilly, fun, surface level, but it does play into our culture of how we view women, how we view men, how we view heterosexual relationships, and where those roles are defined.
I think to add on to that, from what I've seen on social media, is a lot of judgment on relationships, any type of relationship, trad wife or opposite, super feminist. And I think it's just a lot of people in general, this is a big generalization, but they think that how they want to be in a relationship is necessarily the right way. So I just feel there's a lot of assumptions and judgment and hate on any type of relationship on media.
I mean, for me, what I've seen of trad wife, it's not really it's not fully trad wife, because it's the women just cook, but it's more their choice, they choose to do that, Nora Smith. She wants to cook for her children, and she wants to provide for her family. So I think I've seen more examples of that online, and obviously there's some examples Ballerina Farm, where that's what I was trying to say. When the male is more forcing the woman to have this role in the relationship. But I feel now on social media, more of what I've seen is people willingly choosing that lifestyle. But even though they willingly choose it, I feel a lot of people in the comments judge their relationship, saying oh, you shouldn't have to have this role, even though that's what they want for themselves. Because it's fine to want to be a trad wife. You can do whatever you want, and if you don't want to have a job and you want to provide for your family and clean the house or whatever, whatever they do, that's fine, you do you. But it's no one should feel pressured to do that. And a lot of people, I feel are pressuring through social media, they're pressuring women to have a certain role, so either be super feminist and have a job and all this, and provide for their family financially, versus providing at home.
Creating that intimacy through social media and learning how to engage in conversations with a significant other, whether that is a romantic partner or a friend partner. There is this trend arising in how to start these conversations, how to get him to like you, and all that stuff. And
yes, okay. I don't know if you guys have seen that one girl, she I don't really know her name, but she really aggressively puts on makeup, and then she's how to get the boys to like you, and she's aggressively putting on her elf Charlotte Tilbury do.
Multiple
Like that
people
girl?
I've seen actually.
Like, no, it's like a really specific girl, and I feel like everybody is kind of realizing that, like, oh, yeah. I've, like, seen, like, a lot of, like, relationship advice, but I feel like some people, like, put it out there, like, my love, Becca Bloom. She puts it out there because, like, I feel like people ask her and, like, stuff like that, and so she just says what works for her. But then that, like, random girl who, like, puts, like, her makeup aggressively, like, I feel like she says it, and then she's, like, kind of, like, forcing it onto people, like, saying, like, oh, you have to do this or else, like, guys won't like you, or, like, doing that. So I feel like relationship advice, like, comes, like, negatively and positively. Like, some people just, like, put it out there being like, oh, yeah, like, if, like, I don't know, like, if you buy him flowers, he'll like you or something. Like, something random like that, and it's just, like, fun, but it's like, yeah, but that's just, like, what worked for me. And then this girl's like, you have to wear, like, revealing tops, and, like, you have to, like, make inside jokes, and, like, all this, like, really complicated stuff.
I, like, really agree with what you're saying there, because I feel like on social media, like, a lot of people put their opinions out there and, like, basically say it's, like, a fact, and that's so not true of the relationships, because every single relationship is different and every single person is different. So, you know, what, like, will attract someone to a certain person is going to be different for every single person.
I feel like it's really similar to, like, the trad wife thing, where it's like you can have that opinion but don't force it on people. Or, like, again, like, every single person is different. Like Anya said, if every relationship is different, so is every, like, role and how you want to be in that relationship.
Because I feel like while we all have different algorithms, we all are, it seems like we're all kind of seeing similar things. You know, there might be some, like, extra, more eccentric media that's coming up on our feeds, but for the most part, when trends come about, you all see them in some way, and a lot of people are seeing even the same creators, and that's interesting. There's a lot of, in addition to, like, women giving advice on how to get the guy and vice versa, the implications of, like, man to woman power dynamics and how that is displayed on media.
I feel like there's two different types of relationships on media. There's, like, real relationships, like, that have maybe been around before the social media page was created, and, like, genuine, like, relationships. And then I feel like there's social media relationships, which are so, like, artificial, in my opinion. Like, especially when you see, like, couples, like, posting TikToks, and I feel like it gives, like, a false sense of what a relationship can be, because that's just highlighting, like, probably some of the best parts of their relationships. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but relationships are different, you know, and, like, real ones and social media ones.
Do you think that these relationship content creators, like, have a mold for how a relationship should be? And does that, like, put pressure on you for how you think you should go about your romantic relationships? Like, how does that
I feel
affect
like
you?
since, like, social media creators, like, especially, like, most of them, like, some of them might not do this, but I feel like most of them kind of highlight all the things that are, like, going well in their relationship and never really show, like, the other side of them, like, having conflicts and stuff like that. So I feel like if you're, like, seeing those videos of, like, them, they're always, like, happy and they're always, like, filming together, and, like, it might be a super real relationship, but it's, like, they're only showing the good parts. It might, like, feel pressure on you in your relationship, because like, oh, my relationship isn't always happy, like, I feel like we have conflicts and, like, stuff like that. So it might feel like maybe your relationship isn't, like, working, but, like, it's, like, social media, so it's, like, not, I don't want to say it's, like, not real, but it's, like, you can't trust what you see, because, like, there's so much that people are leaving out. So I feel like a lot of people are pressured because of what types of relationships they see, and they're like, oh, like, this person does this, so I should also do that. But it's, like, they might not even be doing that. They might just be doing that for show.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in media relationships, in general, I feel like it is pretty much, like, both genders in the relationship, as for, like, male-female relationships, are, like, pretty equal, and you don't really see any, like, what's the word? Discrepancies, imbalances, that sort of thing. I feel like it's more so in, like, real relationships that you do kind of see more of those, like, discrepancies. Like, when I'm seeing, like, my friends' parents or, like, that sort of thing, like, in person, I see a lot more, like, stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads, and maybe we'll see those on the internet, but I feel like it's still not super prevalent to real life.
I feel like adding on to that, it almost feels like those are, like, I don't know, like, the normal relationships is perfect and balanced and all this stuff, and then you get the idea that that's normal. But it also, I think, makes it harder to recognize when a relationship is not balanced, because the only examples you're seeing are these, like, are balanced relationships or even unbalanced relationships that are normalized by social media. So then in your own relationship, it's hard to see what's actually going on. And then this is a separate point, but slightly related. I feel like social media sometimes can add pressure to make your whole relationship public. Like, I feel like all of these relationships on social media, then it adds this pressure that, why am I not filming TikToks with my loved one? Like, I feel like it adds this pressure for your relationship to also be, like, in front of everyone.
Like, does your perception of intimacy change with the way that it's represented on social media?
I've seen a lot on social media where it's, like, almost love at first sight or, like, kismet or whatever. Like, and a lot of these content creators, it almost seems, again, it's, like, perfect, like, not something I guess you have to work for. And so then I think the perception of intimacy changes because you feel like, well, if it wasn't that click right away, then, like, kind of give up on it almost. Like, you should, and it starts to feel like you need to automatically feel connected to that person, and that if you have to work for it, it's not, like, a real relationship.
I think to, like, kind of further that point is when we see relationships on the media, like, I feel like in general the whole, like, talking stage in a relationship is pretty much skipped. Like, an influencer will, like, come on and they'll say, like, hey, this is, like, my new boyfriend, my new girlfriend, my new partner, whatever. And I feel like that makes it seem like being in a relationship is just kind of what you were saying, like, it just kind of happens.
I feel like I've, like, agree with, like, what you said on the talking stage. Like, I feel like there's, like, recently there's been a lot of relationships where it's, like, randomly, like, long distance people, like, find each other on TikTok. Like, have you guys seen, like, Cassie and Nick?
Yes.
And then, like, Capri and Piper.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
like, so, like, I've seen them, and it's just, like, they randomly, like, kind of just, like, meet each other, and then, like, they just, like, start, and then they're in a relationship, and they're like, oh my god, we're gonna get married. And
Like
it's
the top
just,
of the
like,
finger.
it's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, here, I feel like also in Marin, like, I don't know, hookup culture is, like, really big here. Like, nobody really has, like, relationships, and, like, if you do, it's more just, like, for, like, sexual stuff, and, like, I feel like, I don't know, like, they've been influenced by social media, but, like, I don't really see that on social media, but it's just, like, there's always, like, people that are, like, oh, yeah, like, comparing each other for, like, how many people they've gotten with and, like, stuff like that, and it's just, like, there's two sides to, like, the social media, like, relationships, and it's, like, one side is just, like, going super fast, and then, like, you're, like, in love with each other after 2 weeks, and then the other side is, like, you're going through, like, horrible talking stages, and, like, you're just, like, talking to people and, like, not doing it for, like, the right reasons.
Navigating relationships in the teen world can be tricky, but it can help to unpack these trends in a community of trust. Today, Opaline, Anya, Nico, and I were able to unpack these trends, talking about social media and modern relationships.